Episode 331, More Evidence and Solutions. This is the Change Underground. I'm your host, John. Decarbonise the air, recarbonise the soil. Following on from last week's dire indications through the La Nina El Nino phases, comes a week of truly spectacular weather on the mainland. I'll come back to that in a moment. From the Bureau of Meteorology, our National Weather Prediction Service here in Australia, comes the ENSO forecast. ENSO stands for El Nino Southern Oscillation. From that page issued on the 14th of March, quote, "The 2022-2023 La Nina event has ended, following its declaration in September 2022. Oceanic and atmospheric indicators have returned to the ENSO neutral, neither El Nino nor La Nina values. Most models suggest ENSO will remain neutral during the southern autumn. While the Pacific Ocean is currently ENSO neutral, the criteria for El Nino watch had now been met, indicating a 50% chance that an El Nino may develop later in 2023. A significant amount of warmer than average water exists in the western and central tropical Pacific subsurface, and warmer than average surface temperatures have emerged in parts of the eastern tropical Pacific in recent weeks," end quote. And with the info from last week that the neutral and El Nino represent the same conditions of rainfall deficit in the eastern seaboard states of the mainland of Australia, La Nina being over means things are now turning dry. So back to the weather. In a message from my son today, Blackheath, a township in the Blue Mountains of New South Wales, 112 kilometres west of Sydney Harbour, and at an altitude of 1,066 metres above sea level, or 70 miles and 3,500 feet, or thereabouts, for those non-metric types out in the wild. When I lived there back in the 1980s, summer temperatures ranged from 18 to 22-ish, with 1 or 2 days above 27, but never hitting 30, so it's 65 to 70 and 80 to 85. And those odd hot days would bring a thunderstorm that night and a cool day following. That was during summer. We are in autumn, and since last Thursday, the 16th of March, to Sunday the 19th, the temperature has risen from 27 to 35 during the day. That's 90 up to 85 F. And the humidity has been steadily falling to just 10% on Friday the 19th. The temperatures are bad enough, but the humidity is terrifying. I've placed a Google map pic in the transcript over at worldorganicnews.com, link in the show notes, for you to see just how forested the Blue Mountains are. All the rain over the past 3 years should have the fuels fairly damp, but the entire area sits on a sandstone bedrock that leaks water like a sieve. It dries out quickly. And the mountains are known for their bushfires. A sister-in-law and her hubby lost their home back in the 2013 fires. It's real, and it deprives me of sleep, and did so even more whilst I was living there. The point is, Australia is considered a bellwether for climate change. Our early 21st century fires were harbingers of what hit the US, Canada, Siberia, the Mediterranean, South America, and many parts of Africa. The Black Summer fires just prior to the world's lockdown have been repeated elsewhere again. So more in hope than belief, I googled around and found an article from The Guardian by Mark Z. Jacobson, a professor of civil and environmental engineering at Stanford, entitled, "We Don't Need Miracle Technologies to Fix the Climate. We Have the Tools Now." And that was from the 7th of February this year. He doesn't start off in a comforting tone though. Quote, "Nearly 7 million people die each year from air pollution. Moreover, global warming is already causing catastrophic damage. We have only 7 years to eliminate 80% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions, and 12 to 27 years to eliminate the rest to avoid the 1.5 degrees C global warming since the 1850 to 1900 period. We are already 1.1 degrees above that average. The world also faces serious energy security risks related to climate change. The economic, social and political instability that will result when fossil fuels and uranium run out, blackmailed by countries that control the supply of fuel to other countries, the high cost of shipping energy long distances, blackouts when a centralised fossil fuel or nuclear power plant unexpectedly goes down, and health and environmental problems associated with continuous fuel mining, waste storage, nuclear reactor meltdown, and nuclear energy-related weapons proliferation." End quote. But as you can tell from the title, things aren't as bad as they could be. But we must act yesterday, 50 years ago, but today will do. Just. Now the turnaround. Quote, "Given the magnitude of these problems and the urgency of a solution to them, it is no surprise that the best solution is one that can be implemented quickly and at low cost. Into wind, water and solar, WWS. WWS includes energy from the wind, onshore and offshore wind electricity, the water, hydroelectricity, tidal and ocean current electricity, wave electricity, geothermal and electric electricity and geothermal heat, and of course from the sun, solar, photovoltaic electricity, concentrated solar power energy, and heat and direct solar heat. When combined with electricity storage, heat storage, coal storage and hydrogen storage, techniques to encourage people to shift the time of their electricity use, demand response, a well-interconnected electrical transmission system, and nifty and efficient electrical appliances such as heat pumps, induction cooktops, electric vehicles and electric furnaces for industry, WWS can solve the ginormous problems associated with climate change at low cost worldwide." End quote. That last point, at low cost worldwide, links to an article from the Royal Society of Chemistry, and I've left that link in the transcript if you want to go and have a read. Given the gloom of the past half-decade, the possible banking issues in the US, and you really should watch It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart if you want to understand what a run on a bank really is, link in the show notes, it is a genuine relief to come across information that the change is possible, nay inevitable, once we pull our heads out of the sand and start doing what needs to be done. I don't know, something along the lines of decarbonise the air and recarbonise the soil. Thank you all for listening, and I'll be back next week. This has been a JM Podcasting Services production. Link in the show notes.